are you feeling? How are you doing? I am always here to listen. Tell me something good, or we could have a smiling competition. I'm gonna check in with my friends, and I know they will do the same. Good morning and welcome back. Mr. Parker here, live from my home studio for today's second episode of Homeschool Psychology, the talk show. Today we have another wonderful show. We have musical guest Nicole Short. We have special guest Arin Dunn from the University of Texas. And we're going to be talking about a really wonderful topic that I think is great, especially right now, which is optimism. And so what is optimism? To me, optimism means having a positive look on the future, no matter what else is going on. I think it's really important to be optimistic, especially right now. We're going back to school. We're starting kind of our lives over from 5 months ago. And so how do we be optimistic? How do we look forward and say, I think things are going to go great. And even if they don't, that's okay. Because like we learned last time, making mistakes is just an opportunity to learn. So I want you to think about optimism today and think about how you can have a positive attitude. I like to be optimistic when I wake up in the morning. I say to myself, today's going to be a really cool day. It's going to be a great day. That's how I practice optimism. Every morning, I tell myself it's going to be a great day. Maybe something doesn't go as planned. Maybe on the way to work, I hit some traffic and I hate traffic. But I'm happy that I'm in my car and listening to some good music and I make it to work and I just have a positive outlook on the day. So today, I want to introduce you to our first guest. This is a dear friend of mine, Arin Dunn, the Director of Student Athlete Development and the Forever Texas program at the University of Texas. Arin Dunn was also a college basketball player at Colorado State, go Rams, and New Hampshire. Please give a warm welcome to our next guest, Arin Dunn. Arin Dunn, welcome to the show. So glad to have you.
Mr. Parker, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. Arin, I see you're wearing some burnt orange. Tell us a little bit about who you are and where you're from.
Absolutely. Hook 'em horns. Arin Dunn, currently serve as Director of Student Athlete Development and the Forever Texas program here at the University of Texas. I have the wonderful privilege and opportunity to really help prepare our student athletes for lifelong success. So, we only have 4 years with our student athletes, but it's our job to make sure we're preparing them for the next 40, 50, 60 years. So it's truly a privilege and an honor to be able to work with our wonderful student athletes and coaches.
Awesome. So you spend every day preparing people for their next step in their lives.
Absolutely, I sure do. Part of our job is to make sure that our student athletes are preparing for the next step. And in order to prepare for the next step, we've got to make sure that they've got a vision for what that looks like. So it's awesome. I love every minute of it. We get a chance to meet some special young people that have some unbelievable talents, obviously athletically, but more importantly, academically and as individuals. So I absolutely love it.
Great. Well, we're really happy that you're on the show today. And we're talking about a topic that I think is really important right now. And it's called optimism, or being optimistic. And so I talked about before, when I wake up in the morning, I say, I think it's going to be a good day. I'm going to have a good day. And that's how I start my optimistic outlook on the day. I'm wondering, for you, what does optimism mean? What does it look like?
It's a great question. Optimism is huge for me. I try to be as optimistic as possible. I'm sure that people that work with me or that know me know that I'm typically one of the most optimistic people that there is. And so one of the most important things about being optimistic is really kind of understanding having positive thoughts and then having positive actions and then really trying to limit negativity or minimize negativity. Obviously in the college athletic space, there's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of things out there that could potentially be negative. But what we try to talk to our student athletes is really making sure that you maintain your optimism. That's focusing on what you can control, focusing on your attitude and focusing on your effort. So when I wake up in the morning, I try to have an optimistic mindset, much like you, Adam, because at the end of the day, we can control, our optimism. So kind of what we preach is, those things is, positive thoughts. Make sure we're trying to make sure we have positive things that we're thinking about, looking at the bright side of things, but also minimizing, if we can, the negativity. So the other part of that would be, especially in athletic space, is when we talk about controlling your attitude and your effort, right? There's a lot of things in life that we can't control, but we can control our effort and we control our attitude. So I think that's a really simple thing that we can do in any situation, really, is try to control those two things. So that's kind of a philosophy that I have for optimism.
Great, I love that. So I just want to sum it up. You're saying no matter what, the two things we're in control of are our attitudes and our effort? Absolutely.
Let's say, the old turning lemons into lemonade, right? That's about effort and attitude. So it's kind of as simple as you can get in terms of when life gets crazy. It's full of ups and downs. We know it's full of changes, but if we can really focus on controlling our attitude and controlling our effort in which we do things, it can really help you have an optimistic mindset.
Great. So that's interesting that you bring up change. I was thinking about that. When things change, sometimes it can be hard to keep an optimistic attitude. And so to stay relevant with everything that's going on, you work in college athletics and things may be changing. You might not be able to play the season as you had hoped. And I'm wondering, what do you do to keep an optimistic mindset? Things are really changing. What do you do?
Absolutely. One of the things that's constant in life is change. And so for our student athletes, they're used to a certain thing, right? They're used to football season happening when it happens, basketball season happening when it happens. But our current situation is going to have to cause us to adjust to that. And so this is an early life lesson, I think, for our student athletes in terms of how do you deal with change? How do you deal with uncertainty? So us trying to help them keep a positive mindset and look at this as an opportunity for growth, an opportunity to prepare. They might not get an opportunity to play, this particular year, but that should not change their attitude in which they have to get better every day and their work ethic to get better every day. So this is a real life example of life handing you change, and how you react to it, how you work through it can really dictate how you come out on the other end of it. So our student athletes got that this spring when the spring seasons were canceled, and I think they handled it well. They are looking at this as an opportunity to get better and work at what they do.
Great. Arin, you've given our students and all of our watchers so much great advice. And I just wondered, do you have anything else to say? Is there anything else you could add for everybody at home watching? I've heard you say a lot of change happens and let's just deal with it and handle it. I've heard you say we control how hard we work and how stressed out we get and really our outlook on life. Is there anything else you want to add?
I would just say that just kind of in terms of optimism, I know everybody has challenges, and a lot of challenges are more difficult than others, but if we can really just kind of focus on those two things in terms of what we can and cannot control, your attitude and your effort, but also trying to have positive thoughts. And when you have negative thoughts, trying to replace those with positive ones, positive actions. So positive thoughts leading to positive actions, not just for you, but for those around you. And then when we talk about minimizing negativity as much as possible, that can be surrounding yourself with the right people, surrounding yourself with positive people that are going to help build you up, that are going to help you work through situations. Being in an environment that's positive, if you can get to one that's a positive environment, those are all things that can help you with optimism. I wish there was a special potion that people could take and get there, but it's all part of our work as individuals and being the best versions of ourselves that we can be.
Great. So no special potions yet, but surround yourself with positive people, have a positive outlook, focus and work hard. Arin, thank you so much for joining us today. This was just an absolute great thing to have you on the show. It's so wonderful to hear your wise words, hear you talk about you personally are dealing with these changes and staying optimistic, even when it's probably easier to be pessimistic and negative about what's going on. But I don't think it's always the best to take the easy way out. And I like to see that you're not. You're really working hard to stay positive.
Absolutely. Well, it's a pleasure to be here, Mr. Parker. And we know the best results oftentimes come through change and adapting with change. So hoping that everybody can stay positive and continue to work hard and see it through to the other end.
Great. Arin, we'll see you next time. All right. Wonderful to have Arin Dunn on the show. I loved his words of positivity, his optimistic outlook, and he's just dealing with change at his university, and he's just taking it in stride and working hard to stay positive. And that was really great to hear. So next, we're going to take it over to Teddy with the weather. Teddy, what do you got for us today?
It's hot. Full time.
All right. A dog of many words. Thank you, Teddy. Next, our segment takes us to sports. And today for sports, we're going to head down to Puerto Rico, where we have Manu doing a little bit of sports for us. Manu, what do you got for us today?
Hi, Mr. Parker. Are you doing good? It's Manu from Puerto Rico, and today I'm going to show you how to catch a wave. Hi, Mr. Parker. Thank you. Back to you.
Thanks, Manu. Surf's up, dude. That was awesome. I wish I could be surfing right now. But I'm going to keep a positive and optimistic outlook and think maybe I'll be surfing soon. Our next section brings us to our musical guests. And I'm wondering, I have a little riddle for you. What do you get when you cross a guitar maker, a website designer, and a creative director? The answer is a nickel short. And that's our next band. Here's a nickel short.
2, 1, 2, 3.
Would you come on with me, girl, if I were to sail across the big blue ocean, riding by the gale? Would you like to ride with me on a cycle built for two, powered by our own four legs? We'd ride to Timbuktu. Well, I would run through Kathmandu, swim the seas of South Peru. I'd snowshoe until I turned blue, long as I could be with you. Would you like to hike with me across the Great Divide? We would climb the highest mountain tops and watch the clouds roll by. Would you like to see the world and eat some crazy food? We would plug our nose and close our eyes, pretending it was good. Well, I would run through Kathmandu, swim the seas of South Peru. I'd snowshoe until I turned blue, long as I could be with you. Now I don't care just what we do, if we stay or if we go. As long as you are by my side, the world I would show. That I would run through Kathmandu, swim the seas of South Peru. I'd snowshoe until I turned blue, as long as I could be with you. Just to show that I love you.
Hey, we're a nickel short, and I think we've got some thoughts on optimism. Steve? Yeah, I do. When I was a kid, my dad used to tell me things that helped me when I was in a pessimistic state of mind, when I had too much to do or a big project. Is that, yeah, you focus on the now, do the best you can, the rest will take care of itself. You can be optimistic about the results. So that's my thought.
I like that. I think a lot of people look at optimism as reactionary. You let something happen and then afterwards you think about, was that good or bad? And I look at it in a different way. I like to go into a situation telling myself that it's going to be a good situation, whether it's your first day of school or meeting new friends. And if you go in optimistic and say this is going to be great, then chances are it will.
Yeah, I think for me, I worry a lot and I struggle with that. And optimism for me, I think, is just sort of choosing the opposite, right? So it's a lot of little ways you can just tell yourself, whatever you're holding on to, whatever you think is the worst possible thing, might not happen. And even if you don't have to be, optimistic about everything in the world, you don't have to be optimistic all the time. You just have to let go of some of that negativity sometimes. And I think that's enough optimism for anybody.
That was a nickel short with an amazing song and some amazing words around optimism. Thank you so much for doing that song with that beautiful scenery. Well, that's our show today. It's all about optimism. And if you didn't hear it from before, optimism is that positive outlook and keeping just good feelings in your head and knowing things are going to be okay, even when they might not seem like they are at the current time. So for your homework, I want you to practice optimism. I want you to think about how you can stay positive. Maybe it's waking up in the morning and telling yourself today's going to be a great day. Or maybe it's surrounding yourself with positive people. Or maybe it's just doing things that you love and knowing since I enjoy them, then I'm going to like my day today. That's your homework. Feel free to reach out, comment below. You can reach me at mradamryanparker@gmail.com. If you want to be on the show, I'd love to have you. Write in and I'll see you next time. Bye!
So how are you feeling? How are you